Welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. In our latest episode we went to Duna and now we are in orbit of the red planet and we are going for the landing. So let's use up our fuel in the interplanetary stage. We don't want to waste it. Now let's take our Kerbal, reactivate our nuclear reactor, which we shut down when we were doing the interplanetary transfer, deploy the radiators for now, and go to the planet. We have an inflatable heat shield on our craft. Even though we don't need it as a heat shield, it provides additional drag. So let's do nice... What the hell? And unfortunately at this point Duna just hates me. Any kind of landing leads to this. And this. So after seeing this picture way too many times, I decided that for now we're going to abandon the Duna project and we're going for Ike. Apparently the design of my ship is a bit unstable, as in it is a little bit too tall and doesn't want to keep stable. So we're going to try it at later date one more time. But now we're going for We're going for Ike. We don't go to the Moho because Moho is way too far away. So let's create our maneuver node for the encounter. And Ike is actually very easy to capture. Probably even easier than Moon. Even considering that we have to do the little inclination change. Ike is so close to Duna, it is practically impossible to get away from it sometimes. So let's do the circularization burn. And let's do our science. First in high orbit and then in lower orbit. So we can take EVA reports, gravity scans and all that interesting data. And also considering that we have the custom Biomes mod, we can take more science than usual. Because Ike now has Biomes, as does Duna. And we actually exploited it a little bit while orbiting the Duna. So we have a bit more science than if we would do same thing in stock Kerbal Space Program. So now we're going to land on Ike, and landing on Ike is much easier than landing on Duna. It is practically same as landing on Minmus. Probably a little bit harder, but still easier than landing on a moon. Because the gravity of Ike is lower than Moon, but higher than Minmus. So here we are, coming for our nice touchdown. And we landed. So let's take the science from the surface. Unfortunately, atmospheric apparatuses are not going to work as there is no atmosphere. Let's plant the flag and show our frustration that we are not at Duna. And now let's get back into the capsule. And let's think of what we can do right now. So, we are launching from Ike and we have 2.2 thousand Delta V left. We're going to spend some of it to get into the orbit around Duna, because that's what we need to do to get any kind of escape trajectory. So let's do that first. Let's get to the apoapsis of our orbit. and make it roughly circular. Something like 20 on 30,000 kilometers will probably work. So let's see what we can do and where we can go. Our closest neighbor is Dress, and the transfer window to Dress will come up before the transfer window to Kerbin, so we're not going to waste time. But no, with our Delta V resources, we can go only one way to Dress, but we won't be able to return to Kerbin. That is sad. I'm still trying to fiddle around with the maneuver node, maybe save couple thousand, 100 of Delta V, but then I decided nope, not worth it. So unfortunately we'll have to return directly to Kerbin and spend some of the waste of the sum of the Delta V and some of the fuel. So we are doing the usual return to the inner system, so we are burning retrograde in the direction of Duna's orbit. That lowers our periapsis around the Sun until it crosses the orbit of Kerbin. That's time warp into sphere of influence of Sun, and I was checking some of the settings in the Kerbal alarm clock. I'm not exactly sure what I was looking for, but it was probably important. So now let's create our maneuver node that will change our approach to Kerbin. And we probably want some pretty high periapsis, about 44 kilometers. As we are returning from the interplanetary space, and it might get rough. So let's time warp in system, quick save, and for some reason I removed the radiators but then deployed them again, and as it happened we got a very good reentry profile. We are re-entering in front of the planet in the direction of its orbit, so we're getting basically a reverse gravity assist from it, and that means that our re-entry speed is very low. We are only at 3 kilometers, and that is approximately the same speed as return from the moon, I think? Maybe a bit higher, but definitely less than the usual re-entry speed from the orbit of Duna. It could have been 5 kilometers or more, and it might have ended badly for our Kerbonauts. And if you were wondering why I was violently shaking the capsule, it's because one of the radiators decided to stick with it, and I was thinking that maybe I can shake it off. But later, after time warping, it disappeared on its own. And considering our gentle re-entry angle, plus our low velocity, we are not actually getting any violent re-entry effects. It's everything going, well, even much better than when we're returning from moon. There would be some re-entry effects, like right now, but we're not even getting to 1000 degrees Celsius on the heat shield. That's very strange. So let's deploy our parachutes and go for nice and careful landing. And we can get some more signs from our surrounding. Although we've already been in this biome, we never done some of the experiments here, so let's do that now and recover the vessel. We get 2300 signs and we can spend it on various things and upgrades for our future. For example, we can take those aerodynamic parts that will give us larger fairings, 3.75 meter fairings and extended 3.75 meter fairings. Then we can take these structure components. I think I took them, but a bit later, and then just spend a couple of points that we have left on various things we don't need. And that would be all for now. Thank you all for watching. Remember to like, dislike and comment this video in the section below. My name is Darlok and I will see you next time. Goodbye.